Hey there, and welcome to Conversations Worth Your While. It's the podcast where we dive into real, meaningful conversations with heart led experts who bring wisdom and insight and a whole lot of humanity to the table. And together we explore ideas that spark growth and that shift perspectives and that help you live and lead more fully, both personally and professionally. And today we're going to explore this topic: clarify your message and captivate your audience. And this conversation is worth your while because it will help you uncover and communicate that unique magic that only you bring, your authentic strengths, your gifts, and your lived experiences, so that you can grow a business that people love without blending into a sea of lookalike brands. So, I am Linda Bucher, and honestly, I have the best job in the world because I do help people to get unstuck, and that is my superpower. But I love to help high potential, multi passionate humans, like just like you, to find those superpowers, but to level up. There's so many good reasons for that. Because that's especially what you're here for, and you're supposed to be helping the world, and your gifts matter. You got to get them out there. So, I'm a transformational speaker, a master certified life coach. But before any of that, I was a chameleon in like the first 45 years of my life. I was just trying to be what the world needed me to be and quietly feeling like a victim of circumstance. So I know what that's like if you're there, guys. But everything changed when I stopped chasing someone else's version of success and I started showing up as who I am and like who I really am, right? And then I aligned my life with my truth, with my values, with my gifts, and I aligned my business with that too. And I've never looked back. So the cool thing about doing that, everybody, is that this journey doesn't just transform your life, it fuels your mission, it helps you find your purpose. And, you have a rich, full life to lead. You have gifts that matter. You have a splash to make. And if you're really finally ready to get unstuck and do that, do this good work you're here to do in the world, just come on over and say hello at lindabucher.com. There's a lot of goodness waiting for you there. Okay, so back to today's show: clarify your message and captivate your audience. Today, I have the pleasure of being joined by Hilary Hartling, and she is of the company Hilary Hartling Headquarters. That's a lot of alliteration. Ha, ha, ha. And she's making beautiful positive ripples as a brand messaging strategist who is helping people take that long, blurby stuff I just said 2 minutes ago and like clarifying it so it's captivating. So and she's going to help do that right on the air today. So that is going to be so cool. But before we get to that, Hilary, can you just tell us a little bit more about what you do, who you serve, why you do it? We'd love to hear more about that and how you got started.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me, Linda. I love your enthusiasm. That entire intro is inspiring, but I also in my head was taking notes, so we'll get to that. But
Yeah.
really, what I do, and I've done for almost 10 years now as my own business, is I help founders and leaders and entrepreneurs really turn brand confusion into brand clarity that resonates with their audience, really, so they can tap into their authentic strengths, they can stand out, they can really scale their influence and really get excited about how they show up in the work they're doing in the world. And I've done it twofold. So I've done it for entrepreneurs for so many years, a lot of them solopreneurs, some with small teams. Every once in a while, big brand comes back in there because I do come from the entertainment world and I have some people who come back and work with me. But also, I am now newly this year the chief brand officer of Growth Mode, which is a personal brand agency. And we're really focused on personal brands, helping grow your platform to extend your influence, whether that means it's for your own next chapter or if that's part of your career in your company. So, both for leaders and founders in that personal brand agency. But my background and why I love what I do with brand strategy and messaging is I spent 15 years marketing movies at Disney. And so it was with these powerhouse global entertainment brands, Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Touchstone, and some DreamWorks thrown in there too. And it was really this idea that, like, in the entertainment industry, your whole job is to captivate an audience, right? It's to get a butt in the theater seat and to just take them on a ride and immerse them in this world for 2 hours or more. And I always loved the idea that everything in that industry was based on storytelling, but also the marketing was this messaging not to say what it is, but why you would love it. And so I've taken that idea and I've now transferred it to business owners and entrepreneurs and people who are just excited about doing the thing that feels more on purpose for them. So that's kind of what I do and why I do it.
Well, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay. So I know you have what it takes to help me clarify, which I honestly feel as if, I mean, I've been a coach for 16 years and a speaker for 16 years.
Yeah.
And through the journey, I've amassed way more wisdom and knowledge than I had when I started. And the
Yeah.
more I get, the less niched it's not so easy to be so niched. I'm like, oh, and now I can help people with this. And now I'm an expert in that. And now I know this good stuff that everybody needs to know. Right. So it's instead of being like I picked this thing and that's it and I've been running with it, like it's evolved and expanded. It is getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So like I'm like, oh, what do I do? Well, I'm this, I'm that, I do this, I do that, I love this, I love that. Here's my core messages, but and here's my other core messages, and here's and here's some more
I
core
hear you.
messages.
I
Like
hear you.
yeah.
So here's one place to start that I think will actually have your audience probably sigh a breath of relief is you are a multi-hyphenate. That is a
Oh
thing
yeah.
these days, right? So
Yeah.
saying the what you do almost just brings more credibility. So the what you do, whether you know, a master coach, a speaker, an author, a podcaster, all those things together create credibility for your brand. It is who you are. These are the modalities that you deliver your brilliance in. And that's a great thing. And from what I heard, I believe your audience is probably full of multi hyphenates as well.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It's
No.
okay to aggregate those things. Where you do want to clarify and maybe hone in a little bit. And I don't want to use the word niche or niche because it's not about making what you do smaller. It's positioning your brand in a way that's going to bring in the audience that you can really, really serve best. And it doesn't mean you have to lead with everything. It means behind the curtain, as they come into your world, you can start introducing them to all these ways of doing that for them. But that top of the funnel, that core message you put out into the world needs to be something that number one, you want to be known for. And number two, connects with what they desire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's where we're headed, right? So from your intro, what what my brain heard is yes, all these things, but what you're really helping people do is create purposeful alignment.
That's one of them. Yes.
What would you, okay,
And
and go
there's a
ahead and
why.
tell me
There's
what
yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So like I have a process too, but and alignment is a giant part of that process.
Tell me what the
Um,
process is.
okay, so the process is, and it's like a wagon wheel. You got to go down all the spokes and then
Yep,
get to the center, right?
yep. So
So
it's a framework.
the framework,
Yep.
yeah.
So it's your
So
own
the
framework. Mm-hmm.
exactly. So the initial framework is really the first thing is getting to know yourself and repair your sense of worthiness. Those are two giant, really big pieces. Because if you don't
Mm-hmm.
feel you're worthy, you're never going to live that big, full, rich, full life
Right.
and be able to give your gifts to the world, which is what you're here to do. That's like
Yeah.
my big main thing. Um,
Okay.
so you've got to know who you are and you've
Okay.
got to repair that sense of worthiness. Those are huge.
Okay. What's
Once
next?
so then, as you know who you are, you're discovering your gifts. So it's a real lot of discovery. You're discovering your gifts. And as you're discovering your gifts, you're starting to get clear about how the world, why the world might need them.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also, while you're discovering your worthiness and repairing that sense of worthiness, by the time you do that, now you're ready to realign what you do and how you do it with
Mm-hmm.
who you found, how worthy you are, and what your gifts are. So the
Mm-hmm.
alignment comes after this discovery. It's happening during a little bit. It's not
Yeah.
completely linear by any means. And now, once you've aligned all that and you're living in alignment, now you're getting even clearer on the why that's bigger than you. The question I asked you earlier today.
Yeah.
Like why, so what's the why that's even bigger than you? And so what I say, my why is it's even bigger than me is like I believe all our gifts matter and that the world needs what only we can bring. So my job is to help you unleash what you were born to bring. Like that's it.
Okay, hold on.
You know?
Hold
Yeah.
on. That's a core message because here's the thing. I probably don't even need to hear all the spokes of your wheel because here's what it is. That's the framework. That's the how of what you do. These are
Yes.
the steps you take people through, but your core message is what that helps them do once they've gone through all that. And you just said it.
Hmm.
So what did you say?
Unleash what you are born to bring.
Literally, that could be a book title, by the way.
Oh,
Unleash what you were born to bring. That's what you help people do. And you do it by going through this full framework where alignment is a big thing. But that is literally your core message of what you do and all the things you do, how you talk to people, how you teach people, all the elements you bring forward in your coaching help people do that.
yes, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So lead with that because you don't necessarily, because here's the thing, you know more than your people, right? You're the coach who has all this experience and all this experience, not only yourself, but also experience in coaching others to help them get there. And so you know more than your audience. You just need to connect on the surface level with your audience in terms of where they are right now, where they are in the process, and how you can help them now. And when you connect with them on that level, they don't need to know the 12 things that you help them do once they're inside the program. They discover that as they learn and grow. And if they heard it all at once, it might be overwhelming.
Probably. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have to do that step as a coach. You already know this. You go step by step by step by step. You can always say, I have this framework that's called the whatever you call your framework. And this is my owned proprietary method that helps you unleash the thing you were born to do in the world. Right. And that's why I have this podcast because I'm having conversations worth your while to show people other people's dreams and what they're born to do so it can inspire and motivate them too.
Oh, I like that. Because, that makes me want to even change my intro to this podcast.
It would be great. It would be a great way to intro
Right.
it. Yeah, because instead
Yeah.
of trying to tell everybody all the things, you tell them that nugget and you say, I have so many different modalities to help you do this. And it begins here. And you can even do, if you wanted to, I don't know if you do them, solo episodes where you're taking people through the different aspects of that framework to just give them an introduction to think about this first. Because if you can't unlock this part, you're not going to get to the thing you were born to do because you're going to come up against resistance. You're going to come up with your stories that aren't true and all these things
All
that
that.
pile
Yeah.
up, right? And it's why you're this brilliant life coach. It's because you're doing, and so you can come up with also, you probably already have one, Linda, what kind of life coach you are, right? You can name it. You can title yourself whatever you want that aligns with that core message. So whether it was, I'm going to make this up on the spot, whether it was, purpose driven alignment coach or so, you know what I mean? Like you can make up the title that makes sense for how you do what you do best.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good point.
And then I
Yeah.
would say the only other thing you would need to know is like then you kind of need to go into how do you want your brand to make your audience feel? And I think you know that very clearly because you deliver it so well. You have an enthusiasm. You want them to have that same enthusiasm for what they're up to, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's all these ultimate benefits. I use this example of from my Disney days of Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean
Hmm.
when I talk about features and benefits, right? So like he was obsessed with the Black Pearl, which is his ship. And the Black Pearl is made up of the keel and the hull and the sails and the steering wheel, all the things that make the ship the ship. Those are the features. So think of this in terms of your brand. Those are the features of your brand, the what it is. Now, why is he so obsessed with this boat? Well, because he can go anywhere he wants to go whenever he wants to go, right? That's part of the why. The ultimate why Why he loves the black pearl? Because it represents freedom. And that is his number one core value for Jack Sparrow. He needs freedom, right? And so that becomes kind of like a template for you to think about. Okay, for my brand, yes, the features are I have a coaching program and it's 12 weeks and I have a framework and it's all these things. But why does that matter to your audience? It's because that helps them do this. And then ultimately, what's the why of that why? It's this bigger like freedom, right? Whatever
Oh,
that thing is for
yeah.
your audience, right? So if you think about it from that perspective, you can really easily start to kind of list because a lot of people start from the features and they lead with the features. When
Oh,
what resonates and how you can captivate your audience is when you lead with the benefits.
wow. That's beautiful. That's, yeah. And, and you're right. It's so focused on the how
Mhm.
and not the modalities. Like I can list all those I already know those are the how. This is like someone
Mhm.
called me the Swiss Army knife of coaches because I've got so much diverse experience. I can pull out all these different things.
Which
You
is
know?
amazing. That's part of your uniqueness and your magic for sure. That's part of it.
Yeah, yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And so first of all, I love, like I love starting from the why.
Mhm.
And even that question you asked me, like, because I know, why do I help people unleash what they're born to bring? Because they have a responsibility in the world to get those gifts out in the world, because that's what we're ultimately here for. So I already know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
It's, we're not here to just be in our own little worlds. We're here to give something bigger. And something bigger doesn't have to be so scary. I mean, we're not going to all turn into Oprah, right? So,
Yeah. I mean, someone's
you
purpose
know,
could be being the best mom ever.
that's
Like it
right.
just depends on the person.
Yeah.
And I will say this too, your core message, if you were going to say it another way, it is finding your purpose.
Yeah.
That's just the
It,
Linda way to say it, which is amazing because
right.
that makes your brand unique.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so, okay. So, off air we were talking about hook, right? So like, I've discovered as an entrepreneur that money is not my currency. And when I start letting that lead, everything grinds to a halt, and I get like I'm like procrastinator, I procrast everything, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, let me
Okay.
just build this other thing, right? And
Yeah.
so I've discovered over the past couple of years that my currency is impact. So
Yeah.
so for me, I want to be measuring impact. So I've decided that I it's my duty to reach more people. How am I going to have more impact if I don't reach more people, right? So that's kind of like my
That's your
duty.
goal.
And
Yeah.
so it's a goal to reach my people. So I was just listening to this the guy who is the founder of Podmatch,
Mhm.
that matches podcast guests with podcasts, that are in alignment.
Mhm.
And there's so much other education he does, teaches, like there's so much stuff. And so um, one of the things that I would say holds me back still as an entrepreneur, and maybe this happens with your clients as well, is how do I say this thing in such a startling way that someone's like, huh, nice. So that would be the hook, right? So, I hope you unleash what you were born to bring. Okay, that's cool, but is it enough for a podcast to want to bring me on? Is it different enough? Is it unique enough? Is it right? And
Yeah. Mhm.
so
I agree.
for reaching more audiences, what's
Yeah.
that wow factor? How do we?
Yeah.
And this is for not just for me. This is for our listeners. Like, how do
Yeah.
they do that? You know?
Yeah, well, I also want to back up and say to this point, there is you want to stand out as unique and to wow people, but also you have to start from a foundation of clarity. So you don't want to make something so unique on the surface that people aren't going to get it right away either, right? You
Mhm.
can't be too clever with your wording. You need people to understand in seconds because that's all you get with people, right? They land on something, they look at it. Oh, does that resonate? Yes or no? And if it's a yes, they dive deeper. If it's a no, they pop off, right? And so it's got to start with clarity, both for you internally and so that you know your audience gets it. I would also say the one big, big, big key for messaging There's two for messaging. If you want to look at your industry of what you do, and there will be in any industry, a lot of people doing something similar, you need to look at where the industry trends are going and decide how you can be a disruptor of those trends. That's how you stand out, number one. And
Hmm.
number two is what are the words coming out of your clients' mouths when they come to you? What are they seeking? Because using their exact words in your messaging will help you attract more of those people too. And when you go as a guest on another podcast, you can also say, here are the 5 top things that my clients are always telling me, and this is how my solution helps them.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's a combination of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. This is I've learned over the years because I'm like, okay, I don't pretend to know anything about marketing, advertising, messaging, branding at all. Um, but but I love to learn. So I've always educated myself with things. And I have some books that, I read the first or second chapter because I'm a scanner and that's about how far I get. And they're not that they feel those things feel more checklist,
Mhm.
and your approach feels so much more heart led,
It,
because you said something early on, a few minutes ago, about um, basically we're here to be of service and to our clients, the people who need us. And so that's that's the heart-led part of this, is to be of service and know why it's so important to them,
yeah.
and what we're really doing, what we're really helping them with. So
Yeah.
I like your approach very much.
Well, thank you. Honestly, that's part of my own sort of unique differentiator, I think, in the marketplace, because I would say that, like, there's a lot of brand strategists out there, or maybe they're called brand designers sometimes too, that might focus solely on surface level design. Or there are other maybe brand strategists that will kind of get stuck in these purely tactical marketing things. And I try to bridge both. It's sort of, I call it a soul meets strategy approach. So it's blending that internal clarity, understanding your purpose, um, connecting on a deep level with your audience, having emotional resonance, and tying that with external expression. So
Right.
having then the right messaging, positioning, visual identity that matches the feeling you want your audience to have. So your brand isn't just pretty, it has substance. It's magnetic, right? People
Right.
fall in love with it. And I would say my Disney background really taught me how to create brands or build brands that people really fall in love with and want to stick with and come back to again and again and again. But my years as an entrepreneur and dealing with so many other entrepreneurs taught me how to adapt that sort of big brand magic to make it more personal, to make it more individual, to make it an authentic way for entrepreneurs to express their brand without losing the heart. And the method that I used with my clients is called the shape method. So it's how to shape your brand so that you can clarify your message and captivate your audience. And the S is soul strategy. You start from your soul. You start with that inner clarity because you need to have that so that you understand and you resonate with how you're talking about it in the world. If it feels like you're putting on a persona, that's not going to be the thing that is easy to sustain. So it starts with soul strategy. Then the H is heart work. Heart work is how you connect heart to heart with your audience. So it's really identifying not the demographics of your audience, but the psychographics, the motivations that really drive them, the what they really want. And by the way, for your brand, I would say based on how you do what you do, the vision that you have for your brand, I would say that your target audience is impact driven people. It's
Yeah.
people who want to make that impact in the world,
Yeah.
to actually find what they're here to do, what they're meant to do, their purpose, and align everything in their lives. When you said in your intro, I've now aligned everything with my values. It's so my work, my coaching, everything I do is now aligned, right? Which is
Yeah.
why that word really popped off to me. um, that's what you help others do, is you
Right.
help with this. Alignment is a huge part of, unleashing the thing that they were born to do in the world.
Yeah. Yeah,
right? And then
absolutely.
going back to my shape method, the A is for aligned messaging because once you figured out the strategy and the heart of your audience, you need to align your messaging so it flows. The P is purposeful packaging because it's not designed for design's sake. It's informed by your strategy and how you want to make your audience feel and experience your brand every single time. And then the E is something that I have held on to from my days in the entertainment industry. It is emotional resonance. When you can make an audience feel something,
Mm,
that is when you have hooked them. If you look at Coca-Cola, one of their taglines was literally taste the feeling because they
right.
know this too. Or another one of theirs is open happiness. Disney, the happiest place on earth, right? Like when you can connect with a feeling and connect that feeling to your brand, even something like Honda, helpful Honda, right? They do these commercials all about helping families in their community, their local communities. It has nothing to do with selling cars. It's that they want you to attach the feeling of helpful to their Hondas, to their cars, so that when you go into a dealership, you actually think their salesmen aren't car sleazy salesmen, but they're helpful, right? That's
Yeah.
why they do it. It's
Oh,
association. So you have to focus on the feeling. And that's a
wow.
big part of what emotional resonance is. You can't build a brand unless you know how you want your audience to experience what you do.
Yes. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your method with our listeners and with me personally and for
You're
helping me
welcome.
out as well. I think I have some really good starting points that I have been circling around for a long time. I'm like ready to go on my homepage and change my message. Woo, I got to
So
go on
fun.
LinkedIn. I got to go on Facebook. I got to go on Instagram. Like I got so many places
So
to get
many
this
places.
all streamlined. And as I introduce myself, my bio, like all
Mhm.
these things, it needs to be the same message
Yeah.
everywhere because I loved what you mentioned earlier. What do you want to be known for?
Yeah.
Right?
That's
You
key.
know, that is key. So, and it's very hard for a multi-passionate person like me
Yeah.
to pick one thing, right? But and I
But
think
it
about like,
can be a big thing. It can be it's almost think
right,
about it, it's like your umbrella
yeah,
brand. And you have
exactly,
all these things underneath that umbrella, but you got to pick this one thing that you're known for so that every
right,
podcast person is like, oh, well, we're talking about this. We have to bring Linda on.
right.
Yes.
So, yeah. So I got these words, I've already had some of them, but again, I wasn't using them. They're not on my website right now. Like unleash what you were born to bring,
Yeah.
for impact driven people, um,
Yes.
and help them align everything in their lives around that. Like, so
Yeah.
they're aligned, they're impactful, and they're giving their gifts to the world. Like
Yes.
that's the
And
main.
do you call your framework something?
Yeah, it's called something. I think it might be called like your gift matters framework.
Okay. Think
Or
about it
your
this
gift
way.
matter.
If yours is in like a circle, like you said, it's kind of a wheel with all the
Mm,
spokes of the things that you do.
yeah,
Think about they start at the top, and that's the first thing they do. And by the time they get around the wheel, they've finished all the different things that they need to do in order to
yeah.
get this result. So think about where they are at the beginning. What do you call that? Is it, I don't know, stuck? You said the word
Yes,
stuck
they say
before.
stuck. They say stuck.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you go from stuck to what, right? Clearly defining your purpose and able to unleash what you're born to bring or something, like, so think about that. Maybe put that into Chat GPT and say, here's my framework. Here's where they start. Here's where they end. Give me some options for what to call this framework. So it's very clear and easy to say, my audience gets it. And it gives the from this to this, that
right.
transformation that this proprietary framework that I own and I teach all the time to my clients, this is what it helps them do and name it that.
That's really good because I would have been saying, oh, well, here's all the parts, based on the parts, what should I call it? And that's not how you would name it. You name it, I used to have when I was first a coach, like in 2010, under
Mhm.
my name, my little tagline was just like from here to there. Like I'll help you get from here to there, from where
I
you
mean,
are to
that's
where you want
that
to be.
that is
It
that
was
is
from
clear.
here to there.
But
It was
but
clear.
what you're correct about in that even that phrase is it's about the transformation. So it's not
Always.
necessarily about the steps because they're going to trust you with those, right?
Right.
Based on your
Yeah.
experience and your testimonials and all the things that you're doing. They need to understand what is that transformation that I can expect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
nice.
Wow. Well, this has been super cool. I mean, personally, for sure, but also super informative to our listeners, to our entrepreneurs or solopreneurs who are trying to do it all and try to figure it all out. And you have just exemplified your expertise so beautifully. And like, some people can talk about what they do, but you actually just showed it. You did it. You showed it. You helped me tremendously. So I want to say thank you so much for that.
Yeah, it
Um,
was fun.
yeah. And so I think there's two more things we got to just mention. One
Hmm.
is if people want to clarify their brand so that they can reach more people and, like,
Yeah.
what shall they do next? What's a small step they can take right now? And then the second thing is some news that I know you have, I want to definitely touch upon.
Oh, I would love that. But yeah, no, I think if someone wants to take away something from this episode to try to put into practice right now, I would say, let me actually, I'm going to give them three things.
Okay.
I'm going to give them three. I want them to clarify their why. So I want them to start with that internal clarity for themselves. So like think about it this way. If your dream client was comparing you to like three other competitors in your industry, why would they choose you? And go deeper than like you care more or I'm passionate about,
Right.
right? So you want to anchor it in what you're so good at. And sometimes you need to ask some other people about that because it's hard to see that in yourself, but usually it's those things that come so easily to you that people
Right.
really want from you. So start with your why, try to answer that. But then I want you to write like a one sentence brand statement. It's a little bit like a positioning/mission, but just describe what you do, who you do it for, and the result that you help them achieve.
Right.
If you can start there, that clarifies so much about your brand. And then if you want to dip into the feeling like we were talking about, I would say identify 5 brand keywords. 5 keywords that really describe how you want your brand to feel and how you want your audience to experience what you do. And let those words guide all of your content, your messaging, your offers, your design decisions. They filter everything for your brand. So if you can start with those 3 things, you are well on your way.
Wow, fantastic.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Well, Hilary, I'm definitely going to put your contact information into the show notes because I think you're probably going to get some people being like, yeah, I want some of that. Give me some of that. Give me
Great.
some of that, Hilary, and her Hilary magic. So, and you are certainly unleashing what you were born to bring. So
Thank you.
I absolutely love that. And I love your energy and your attitude. And I love the fact that you wake up every day loving what you do. I do that. You do that. Like we want everyone to join the club. Like you wake up smiling, right? And
Yeah.
so that leads, it's a nice little segue into, I know you've got some big exciting news for something that you're working on and where it's going to go. So I'd love if you just share that before we hang up.
Yeah, I actually am going to be publishing my first book. So I entered the Hay House. Hay House is a big publisher. A lot of people might know they publish like Gabby Bernstein and all kinds of coaches. They do business books, but they do a lot of spiritual stuff as well. Anyways, I won the first runner-up prize, which means it's not Hay House proper, but it's their self-publishing arm, Balboa Press, which a lot of authors start at. And so I won this whole package. So they're going to do it and help me release my first book. And it's called Wake Up Excited, The Rebel's Guide to Reclaim Joy, Trust Your Gut, and Live an Unapologetic Life That Lights You Up.
Amen. Woo!
Yeah, and really who I wrote it for, it's an empowering guide for women ready to break free from burnout, reclaim joy. I use my glow up toolkit and I take you through what that method is, and it's really grounded in my experience having been an executive at Disney, but also as a branding expert and also as a single mom, but I also align these spiritual practices for these women in seasons of transformation. So I'm super excited for Wake Up Excited.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. So when you get right before you're ready to publish, let's do another episode and we'll just deep dive on that. And then, or even if you're doing like a pre-publish something you
Yeah,
want to get some hoopla up or whatever, I would love to
I'll come
have you
back.
back. I mean, your expertise in the branding area is huge. And then, what you're doing with your book, like that's so aligned with helping people do the very thing that I'm helping
I
people
can
do,
help
just
them
in a
too. Yeah,
different way, but unleashing what we're
exactly.
born to bring, right? So, yeah.
It's true.
And so
Yeah,
that
I
would
would
be
love to come
beautifully
back.
aligned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So absolutely come back. That would be wonderful. So, Hilary, I just want to say thank you so much again for being a guest on Conversations Worth Your While. Okay. So, everyone, that's our show. Once again, I'm Linda Bucher, and, I'm on a mission to unleash what you were born to bring. Like, I'm just going to keep using that all day long. Um, because when you know your worth and you share your gifts, you can deliberately create big, beautiful ripples in this world. And so, if this episode sparked something in you, be sure to like it, subscribe to this podcast, and share it with someone that you care about. And then come back next week for another honest, uplifting conversation to help you grow. And until next time, make sure that you've made this conversation worth your while by fueling the spark that it ignited.